Join me as we go over the ultimate Suzuki GSXR-1000 setup.
Get it while it's hot, the Dude Mungus 3000.
What do you want from me?
No monkey.
Hey, dude, do that. Say what up, it's your boy, Dude Mungus. Dude, I love, I love this fighter jet cockpit it looks like I have right now. Heck yeah. But bro, no lie, this is probably the number one question I get asked. People will see videos of this bike doing over 200 miles an hour. Number one question, hands down, Mungus, what is your setup? What gearing are you running? What do you have done to this bike? So today, I just want to take you guys out for a second, and we're going to go over a full breakdown of what is done to this bike. Motorcycle have two wheel. That's a scooter. We're just scooting along. It is what it is, bro. But I want to take you guys and break down everything I have done to this bike. We're going to go over visual cues, and we're also going to go over the power mods, which I know this is what most people want to know, is how can I get your bike, how can I get my bike to be as fast as your bike? I promise I don't even know how it happened, but my bike has become the standard. Hey, if you can beat Mungus' bike, if you can run with Mungus' bike, your bike is actually running very well. So I'm actually happy to have became that standard. But let me get over where we're going, and then we'll get this breakdown going. Oh yeah, the bat. Oh, this bike looks so good. Oh heck yeah. I'm telling you, man, this black on black, you guys just gotta see in person, bro. Sheesh. Alright, let me get set up and then we go jump into this video. Goodness gracious, this bike does it to me every time. Beautiful wife helping me out today. So good. All right, dude and dudettes, we here. We got the bike set up, and I already know what you guys want to see. I already know what you guys want to hear. Now that we got a little bit more light, let's look at this joint. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Before we get started and get too far into it, we just gonna get with the walk around so you guys can get the idea and the thing behind the bike. The bat. Yes, sir. Yes, man. Starting at the front, you already see Alifperformance, bro.
I rock with these guys. These are a company from Qatar that make great quality, lightweight products that actually work. So this is a company that primarily makes stuff for the road race scene, but I actually use it in my everyday riding, and I also use it when I go to the racetrack, which I'll be at Road Atlanta next weekend, June 30th through July 1st with Precision Track Day. Alifperformance. Speaking of Alifperformance, I have Alifperformance strap kit on the bike. So what I do with the strap kit, when you strap it, it compresses the suspension and it keeps it from expanding so fast, and that helps keep the front wheel on the ground. When you guys see me doing these pulls, you're like, Mungus, how are you keeping your front wheel down? This Alif front end strap kit is what helps keep it down. I like the Alif kit because it's a little bit lighter than the other kits that are on the market. Plus, again, I just love those guys from Alif. And let me get my light since we're here on the brakes. Let me see if I can get this to light up. See if you can see it on the back. You see that spring right there? And then there's another one. Oh, I'm trying to get the light together so you can see. And then there is another one up top. These are the Black Death Performance pad spreaders. This is the version 2 of the pad spreaders. What that does is it helps reduce the contact of the brake pad on the brake rotor. Now, they do this in professional racing, but of course the professionals got the money of the money. The braking system in professional, in MotoGP, all this racing, theirs are magnetic, which allows the brake pad not to touch the brake rotor as much, which allows the front and the rear to spin more freely. So you guys see these videos of the people spinning the front wheel or spinning the rear wheel. It reduces brake drag tremendously, and I gained a mile an hour or two up top, and all these little details makes a huge difference, man. So one thing I've been working on a lot, I tell you guys, is I've been working on efficiencies. All right, guys, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about efficiencies. Every piece adds up. I know some people don't agree, some people do agree, but I'm telling you, when I started doing this stuff is when my bike really started to pick up that top end mile an hour. But watch how this rolls. That's with the chain, that's with the brakes, full rotor. This is how it rolls. When you get up to speed, that makes a huge difference. Look at this. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. Look how easy the bike rolls. Guys, I'm telling you, efficiencies are key. Take care of your bike, it will take care of you. Efficiencies. Moving on to the side of the bike, man, we just gonna go over a lot because there's a lot going on under the bike that you cannot see. And you guys already heard it, this M4 exhaust system. Oh yeah, that M4 exhaust is sounding so good. So this is a full titanium M4 exhaust. The thing I like about M4 is the M4 has an active race team. So I feel like they are constantly innovating because they have a race team, and you get faster bikes when you get race technology that gets passed down to the street. So that's one reason I love the full titanium M4 exhaust. The thing I like about this over the errata exhaust that I had, I didn't think it was possible, but this exhaust gives me more bottom end. I am all about the bottom because of my daily riding style. I am all about the bottom, something you cannot see that is underneath here. So I have different setups depending on different scenarios, but the setup I run every day are my Stinger variable velocity stacks. The reason I love the velocity stacks, the variable velocity stacks, is because they give me a huge swell in mid-range power. That swell in mid-range power makes this bike very effective on the street and on the track. Now, when it comes to race day weekends, I am running a different velocity stack, and it honestly depends on the setup that I'm going to need. This bike has only ever been on pump 93 fuel. This bike will make it, depending on the day, depending on the humidity, it will make anywhere from low to mid 180s horsepower. The most I've ever seen it make was 186. The least I've ever seen it make when it was having issues was 170 something. But when everything is right, it's doing what it's supposed to do, it's low to mid 180s is what this bike will make. Something else you cannot see that is under here, I run a DNA air filter. I used to run the Sprint air filter, but it left my airbox very, very dirty. So the DNA has a larger surface area, which allows to get very similar, if not more airflow than the Sprint filter. But the difference is it keeps your airbox clean. So what I do, and I found on my bike, and I ride in a bunch of mixed conditions. I don't ride in any sandy or dusty areas, but every time I do an oil change, that's about the time I just go ahead and clean my air filter while I am in there. Coming around to the front, I have the Alif Halo X triple clamp. The reason I have this is it saves 1.5 pounds over the stock system. So everything OEM versus having this system, I'm saving 1.5 pounds. Now with this bike, I need all the weight up front, but 1.5 pounds, I feel like I could give up 1.5 pounds because this just looks absolutely amazing. And just cutting the screen on so you guys can see, I have the custom screen, the MXPS unit by AIM Dash. So I have the unit, and this right here is their GPS unit. So this allows me to get real world GPS speed. When I start this up, it gets GPS data and lets me know real specs of what's going on. Oh, you guys seen this cutting on right here. This is the AFR gauge I have right here. This is just to help monitor everything that is going on. And Alif, this, I got this first button right here. This is gonna be my kill mode button. Your boy Mungus is finally gonna give this alternative fuel a shot and see what happens. The only reason this is blanking out is because the bike is not on. And then this button I have right here, this activates the wideband gauge. This just looks good. That's the whole reason I have this, is it looks good and it's functional. Not that, you know, not that you want anything bad to happen, but I've had the previous version of this triple tree, and you know how the motorcycle life go. I had an incident, the triple tree survived. The carbon fiber bars survived. Let me see if I can get a light so you guys can see these carbon fiber bars. There you go. The carbon fiber bars survived the incident. So Alif makes a really, really, really good product. Coming back up front, something you guys can see, I am now running the Michelin Power GP2s. These tires are very light and very grippy. Again, I am an everyday rider. I like my setup to do kind of some of everything. And look at this, guys. For everyday setup, this is half of a finger's worth of chicken strips, half of a fingertip. worth of chinker strips on the left and on the rear, on the right and on the left. Look, I'm telling you guys, bro, this is a good tire. I've been racing on this tire. I went out and raced on this tire, and look, there's no gumming up. Like, the tire grips, but it's not chewing up super fast. So I'm actually super duper excited about that. Also, something you cannot see that is on this bike, in the back, I have a ECU flash and I have a power commander up top. I used to be the guy that was not a believer in power commanders, but after being with TaylorMade for so long, and man, I'm telling you, this bike runs absolutely amazing. This bike does have an ECU flash by Woolish, and it has a power commander on top of that. The way my tuner explained it to me is the power commander gets that fine tuning because situations will change and will not always be the same. When you go out of town, you go here, you go there. My bike works regardless of the situation. It works every time. And it's not like, oh, it worked better here than it did there. No, it works every time. For you guys that are not sold on the power commander, look at how my bike runs. It runs very well, and the way Be It TaylorMade has it tuned is absolutely amazing. Shout out to TaylorMade because they make all of this work. I had the idea of the setup. TaylorMade got everything to work. Also, guys, something you want to make sure you do, and I already gave a shout out to my shop, TaylorMade and Be At My Shop, but you need to make sure you have a good tuner that knows what they're doing. A lot of people, when they tune, and I hope I'm not giving away secrets, B, a lot of people, when they tune, this is what they tune for. That's all they tune for. Your bike is not only full throttle. Your bike is 80%, 70%, 60%. Your bike is that throttle position too. And if you do not tune for all of those parameters, your bike is going to be lacking. And I'm telling you right now, if you're not tuned for all of that, you're losing to the back. You're like, how's he doing it? You're going to lose, bro. That's flat out. That's how it's going to go. Also, dropping down here with efficiencies, I have a brake return spring from Woodcraft. Now, what this does is just helps my brake lever return back to its position. So with it making sure it's back in its position, this is ensuring that my rear brake has as less drag as possible. So shout out to you see him right there, shout out to Alifperformance for this right here, efficiencies of the rear wheel. Also, back up here up front, I do have the Galfer rotors. I believe these are called the Cube. The thing I like about these, I was able to keep all of my rotors, but I didn't have to keep the full weight of the OEM setup. So Galfer claims that this saves 40% of the weight. So look, I was able to keep all my rotors and drop some weight at the same time. But honestly, I can't lie, I got them because they look freaking cool, man. That's why I got them. So I got them on the front and the rear. So again, I was able to keep my rotors but drop 40% of the weight. Something else I have behind here, these are Suzuki branded chain adjusters. I like these because it's a sleek look. It still fits inside of the swing arm. Like, I know they have some that stick out and which are easy because you just hear the click, but I just like this look a lot better because I feel like it's just a lot cleaner. I also decided to upgrade my brake lines front and rear. These are the Core Moto brake lines. I got these from my tuner B. He had an extra set and sold them to me, and I felt like the red was like a perfect addition to this bike. The bike, of course, the base is black, but with these bright colored accents, it just looks so good. I know it's a little dark over here, but what you can see right now, I have a 520 chain set up, and this is probably the biggest part. When I get asked, Mungus, what's your setup? Most people ask, Mungus, what is your gearing? So my gearing that I run is 1743. 1743 with a 520 chain setup. And yes, I am running aluminum sprockets for the rear. I'm running an aluminum sprocket. I was terrified of aluminum sprockets for the long. Let me cut this light off. Oh, that might actually help you see a little better. I was terrified of aluminum sprockets for the longest until I actually got into it. I will say you do need to keep up with your maintenance on the aluminum sprocket. I have always been a stickler for keeping up with my chain maintenance, and I believe that's a big benefit of why my bike is okay. I've been to the racetrack on this sprocket, this chain and sprocket setup, and I've been back to the street, and now I'm going back to the racetrack on this same chain and sprocket setup. Guys, just maintenance your chain. The chain lube that I use of choice is Motul. I use Motul chain cleaner and Motul chain lube. There are other versions out there. There's probably cheaper versions. That just seems to work the best for me. Appreciate my beautiful wife for helping me out. There she go. But I'm telling you guys, I'm not lying to you. These little details make a huge difference. And again, my bike is set up for all around conditions. So my chain may be loose to some, it may be tight to some, but I'm telling you, for an all-around setup, my bike is set up all around. It is not set up necessarily for roll racing, which it does have some roll racing parts, but that's not necessarily the purpose of the setup. It is set up to be universal and to work everywhere. The oil I use in this bike, I use either the Suzuki recommended oil, the Suzuki branded oil, or I use Motul 7100. A lot of people get confused and they want to use Motul 300V. That is not the oil you should be using in your street bike. It is not. 300V is made for, hey, I'm gonna run the bike, do a couple pulls, do my race, and change it immediately. You guys are not changing your oil like that. Trust me. I'm not changing my oil like that. Run the 7100. It is better for your bike, unless you're going to be changing your oil literally around the clock. Do not use the Motul 300V. It's not a bad oil, but that's more of a race application than an everyday application. Now, that's me talking as an everyday rider, but I'm telling you, you're seeing what the bat is doing as an everyday bike. So I believe that will be all the power mods I have on the bike, and then of course the visual stuff. The fairings. Oh, monster fairings. Look at that. It's so dark out here. I'm not for sure if it'll pick up, but it's metallic flake. Let me try to get my shadow out the way. It's metallic flake in the gloss, and it's also metallic flake in the satin black. You might not be able to see it, but oh, it looks oh so good. Also, I have the Alifperformance mirror block off plates. Again, not only do I love this company, but I just felt like this was a better looking block off plate than any of the other ones. The windscreen that I have, this is a zero gravity double bubble windscreen. This allows me to tuck better on the bike. I actually like the OEM style, which doesn't have this second bubble, but I didn't realize how much I would actually like the double bubble, and I feel like it gives it a very aggressive look. I love the double bubble, which the purpose of this is it helps you tuck a little bit better, helps you get behind the windscreen. And any of you guys that have seen my races, like side-by-side races, this is like perfectly in line with my helmet. It is the perfect size for me and an everyday bike. I still have the stock seat. I haven't did a shaving, I don't have a cut tank. I don't have any of that. This is 100% a normal, regular bike. For my kickstand, I have the Alifperformance lowering kickstand. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It is beautiful. I feel like it's probably half an inch too short for an everyday bike, but because I have my bike lowered, it actually works. It's perfect when the bike is strapped, but if your bike is not lowered, this kickstand will not work for you. But if I'm actually going to reach out to Alifperformance and see if they would make some for bikes that are closer to stock height, because I believe there is a market for that. You guys also will notice that I have aftermarket levers. These are Bonamici levers, clutch and brake lever. And the reason I like these levers is, one, they feel better than OEM, but they also have these slits in them. These slits help you out when you're doing your top end pulls. So in land speed, when they were doing tests on motorcycles, they would notice that as they were getting faster and faster and faster, the brake was slowly, ever so slightly applying itself when they got up to speed. Even if it was just a little bit, it was enough to slow them down. So they started making the brake levers with these slits in them, which allows the air to pass through, which allows you to get that top end speed. I'm telling you, bro, every bit counts. All right, dude and dudettes, I believe that's it. That is every modification that I have on the back as far as the power goes. Of course, the cosmetics, I got the kit from Monster Fairings. I have a front carbon fender from Beston, which honestly has been on this bike about 10,000 miles, and it is flawless, no issues. Beston, which is a company that's down here in Georgia, really, really good. A question I get a lot also is my rear hugger. Which rear tire hugger is this? This is a Litec rear tire hugger. I didn't realize the Gixxers didn't come with tire huggers. And I was like, yo, that's just weird. I thought all bikes came with tire huggers. So had to get a tire hugger. This is purely cosmetic, but it also keeps from everything flapping up against here. But dude and dudettes, I believe that's all that I have. If there's anything else I need to add in, I will add in as I'm editing. But anyway, man, I appreciate you guys rocking with me. You know who it is. It's your boy, Dude Mungus.
Namaki. 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 Thank you for watching, dudes. Namaki.
That is such a good ride.